Basically, I will just check that this is recording. Now you've seen all my secrets, you've seen my part of my house. Basically, I was going to play some music, but having thought about it, I'm just going to read this out, just to show that I'm compos mentis enough to read, which, unlike my horrible reputation, which is dictating that I am in fact unable to do anything, including drive at the moment, because I'm being told that I'm this, that and the next thing. I'm not actually. I have been very, very ill due to the administration of drugs that are usually used on schizophrenia without actually being diagnosed as schizophrenic, because they're just torturing me, because they don't want to pay up a sum of money that they owe me, and they're also trying to smear me at the same time. And part of the reason is there's been this manifestation of media moguls and technologists and things going, well, that's a good purchase, but we don't fancy paying, including the inclusion of a sample from my keyboard which I bought from F1. An interesting death today. I'd never met the man, I don't know him, but they certainly haven't honoured any agreement that I might have made with them as far as using music that I like, etc. So I'm sorry about it. I didn't know the guy, but I'm sorry about it because I didn't know the guy, and I'm sorry that I didn't get my money in time to sort of put that one to rest. Anyway, having talked to you today about this product, it will be a huge seller throughout the gardening world, and basically the lone standing unit works by holding a pot on a flexible metal environment or purpose built to the commonest pot. And then are struts from either end, and they sit in rollocks, and when the pot needs emptied, you simply tip it onto a riddle underneath and then riddle the earth into a pot below using a weighing gauge to weigh the result. Perfect for the allotments and gardens, of which there are many in Dundee. The modular unit works from within an obelisk, which is one of the most abused structures in the garden. An obelisk deserves hinges and the opportunity to be entered easily and to support containers, creating an almost water feature-like structure using cascading flowers maybe, and the above arrangement to measure and grow in. The half and half container dividing the most commonly defective containers such as radiators, meaning even if the container leaks, one side will remain intact and get you to the garage. Anything that breaks needs backed up, so the two-sided monitor is a great suggestion, using the same materials divided down the middle instead of the usual arrangement, which is brilliant for call centres. The dancing cow barns. The roof is built in sections, they fill with water and tip and shuffle to the wall, folding flat and sliding down the wall, and then shove all them up to a containment area and fold flat and oscillate. And I've written to Universal Artists to try and get a block building movie animated at least. A breath of fresh air called Slay. The walls do the same. I love it and think often about how to make life easy for farmers. If M1 and M15 and M16 actually believe life for a farmer of any description is like listening to Beethoven's Pastoral, then I question that. Scything is an option for some jobs on a portable TikTok swing frame, as is the hydraulic spade arrangement as stolen by a friend of Heidi Klum's. Lots of spades on a frame operated by a hydraulic lever system and easily folded away makes light work of all sorts of things, including coal-driven trains. The Amma brush was an idea developed from a game of hockey with the Dundee Wanderers, and I love it. And the tooth fairy frames, meaning remote removal of teeth is possible, although some kind of brace would also remove teeth without much contact needed from the doctor. Another possibility realised. Basically, life after the 80s involves a health and safety element I love, and Gum Shield was an invitation to design something to go several better than the Andrew Michael Allen. So I wrote to Boots, who offered me nothing but methadone, and I said no, so I then wrote to the show-offs in America, who haven't thanked me, but have developed the toothbrush via the Orthodontics Association of America. Good for them. To make money fairly, I would have to order the things cost price and then sell them. And with my enhanced disclosure, courtesy of Halloweener Police Dundee, there's no much chance of that, is there? With a personality like mine to match, I would almost agree at the moment. I don't really want to have to work in Boots and clear them out, knowing what they're selling under the counter is more important than developing a really, really good toothbrush. Anyway, we digress, which I don't like doing. The spice insert is perforated corkscrew drill with a flat bottom which twists, forcing 5 mils or 2.5 mils of spice into a concave hollow to shake. Would I make one which expands to crunch and powder any hard compressed spice powder? The valve designs for attaching mixing equipment on an arm for either manual application or hardware electrical functioning, enabling to attach to any container and possibly use temperature. The pot containers on rollocks, meaning no heavy lifting, is also eliminated and incorporates a binding, providing the means by which to attach the stand to any shape of container. When placing a container, always put some way to dislodge the pot by using ropes or ties underneath it. After seeing this, I designed a pendulum axe chopper to make life easy for people. A stand operates 2 machetes or axes and swings backwards and forwards attached to the tree, and it can climb it, so it's got like these almost crampon attachments. Mind that taxation, George. Mind that taxation. And it climbs, and then it chops from the, it should have some kind of way of gauging when the tree won't support it anymore, and it starts chopping. And it just chip chop, and down the tree comes, and then it will do that in stages, so it climbs down, and you have to measure out what a log is supposed to be, and it chip chop. So I think it's quite neat. Theoretically, it might be able to push forwards and backwards a vehicle if it was designed to. I have sent details to film companies in the hope that the film will animate the designs and fund the distribution and production of these tools. The valve designs for attaching mixing equipment on an arm for either manual application or hardware, blah blah blah. We've always carry a lighter, is what I've said. That was particularly aimed at our veterans in the armed forces. I believe some of them are living in their sheds. They're so traumatised by what's going on in the world, and I certainly have felt like moving, if not myself, then my valuables somewhere else. This is just getting so ridiculous, it's unbelievable. A 3-part mast which crops through the hull when a capsize occurs and enables the ship to sail on as the hull does. What is required to function as a hull on both sides. Theoretically, you could do that with jets as well. If there was landing gear on both sides of the jet, would that make a difference? In fact, if they're able to hover, are they able to extend a robotic arm and just clamp as a climber would onto a piece of rock or something if that was supported? And what if they were able to stop mid-air as well and just use something to remain in the air? Okay, here's an idea for doctors. The first ever monitor TV on a lamp arm, usually only associated with dentistry, with fitted frame, light and 360-degree capacity to self-right when turned and attached to the doctor's body. Which part of a doctor's body should a monitoring media device be attached to so the doctor can see what he or she needs to, regardless of body position, or what kind of lenses should the doctor be wearing? Bifocals. The extraction tool connects to a hydraulic arm, possibly using the same technology as exists on the current lamp, and tools also relate to a screen on an arm and using cameras and monitors. This means the practitioner can zoom in and out, and I would say this is also probably applicable to surgical tools. So you have a zoom in to the very delicate area that they're operating on using some kind of camera, whether that's from above, so that they're looking, but it's always following them around. It's that Philip K. Dick experience with the kind of the objects that just follow something that's moving. That was a really, really good book. I designed things when writing to dental school in Edinburgh to have several new pieces of dental equipment developed, including a frame on which a person is attached in the sitting position and bites into a brace, among which a tooth fairy is attached with clamps to the bad tooth, and a lever attached to a bar pulls the tooth out using a technique. We've heard enough about the tooth gum shield. The tooth gum shield has a camera which photographs the teeth and sends the information to the dentist. There's all sorts of things that could do, including schedule appointments. So when something's obviously going wrong, you catch it before it becomes obvious to the patient, and then you show them evidence. Obviously, you can't just break into a sweat and say I can make £800 from an extraction that doesn't need to be made. But the patient will see that a cavity is forming, or there's a brown mark or something. The dentist will be able to identify that by pictures that they're sending in automatically. They could do that when it identifies that the cavity is forming, if it's before the appointment is being made, so you're in there. The surgeon and vet frames allow the posture of the beast to be supported in whatever position the surgeon requires, allowing a much more precise type of surgery to be supported, so that no reaching is needed from one position, unnecessary surgical work is avoided, and much more accuracy is achieved. This also facilitates exercise and physiotherapy and enclosed temperature control and lab procedures, as found in mouse experimentation used in the new surgical and butchery tools, taking the back-breaking work out. The Atlas frames are part of a transport vehicle able to move with robust speed on the field and are protected by an inflatable tent and bouncy castle. Sounds ridiculous, but it might work in practice. We've had the tooth fairy, sitting position, we've had that. The vet frames are something also that gamekeepers could take out in the field with them, and again it allows them to swing the beast onto the horse, or onto the it takes the back break out of that. It's a kind of jack system that that removes the beast from the field to the transport conduit. Then there's one at Stageclub which will directly affect them probably by law at one point. The half and half container, yes, that's done. Scything, that's hydraulic spade, armour brush, that's done. Again, I've asked for collaboration and to examine the calorific value of food when meat is slaughtered using different, sometimes objected to techniques. This would include the Islamic world and hopefully will improve the situation Yemen finds itself in. Dangerous talk when none of it should have happened at all. Slay is a film I'm proposing. Slay is a story which represents Christmas and animals, including humans from around the globe, and better training and medical tools. And since you are playing so beautifully, this was aimed at Nicola Bennett yesterday. It was an email I sent to her. I consider you worthy of which part? If you could choose the words to contribute to the film Slay, would you want the biggest part or a walk in the park?